Tip number 1 is rest long between your main sets, because when you rest longer for about 3 minutes between your main sets, then your body has more time to resynthesize ATP, the energy that is needed for another intense set. You can increase the weights better, you can hold your weights, you will have also more willpower. So between the main sets, 3 minutes would be ideal. Don't go shorter than that, in my opinion. Tip number 2 is use drop sets. Here you have the option of reducing the weight. You can do a normal drop set or a triple drop set, or you choose exercises with different difficulty levels. You start with the hardest one, you go to the medium one, and the lowest one. That would be, for example, a triple drop set. Without rest in between, you do these exercises or difficulty levels, or you reduce the weight, and you will feel incredible after doing it. It gives you stimulus 100% if you also vary with the drop sets, and if you don't do that often, that makes your muscles grow. Tip number 3 is use supersets. There are 2 main variations here. You can either do 2 exercises for the same muscle group without rest right after each other and then rest, or what I like even more, you do 2 exercises for muscle groups that are on the opposite side of each other right after each other between rest. Then while one muscle is working, the other muscle gets stretched, and the other way around. That stimulates also very well, so use supersets. Tip number 4 is go heavier with the compound exercises and lighter with the isolation exercises, because with compound exercises, when a lot of muscles are involved, you can also lift heavy, and you should use that, make use of that. And with isolating exercises, go for lighter weights, more reps, and just use that pump that you probably like. Tip number 5, this one is very good. Use a rest pause at the end of your set, which means finish your set, then breathe for 2 or 3 times, just a few seconds, and do 1, 2, or 3 more reps to get the most out of each set. Tip number 6 is from time to time use the pit force method or clusters for more workload. Here you don't do a typical set, you do just 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep with a few seconds in between, but you can use higher weights because you don't do a lot of reps at the same time. This way you have higher weights, more total reps if you do that for a while, and it's fun. It's also not very hard for your nervous system from time to time. That's really good if you want to do that, pit force and clusters. Tip number 7 is vary with the rep ranges. Don't stick always to the 8 to 12 rep range. Go also for 5 to 7 reps or up to 20 reps, because what counts is also the time and attention. If you do fast reps for 20 times, 25 times, that's also okay. You will stimulate your muscles, you will get your muscle growth, so vary with the rep ranges. Number 8 is try out new exercises, because every single time you try out a new exercise, this is also a new stimulus. Sometimes I just try out a new ab exercise and I have for a whole week, because it felt so weird, muscle ache on my stomach. And if you eat enough protein, then of course you get your muscle growth, because you cannot always increase the weight. Just choose another exercise, and this will also give you the stimulus for the growth that you want. Tip number 9 is squeeze at the top, which means, for example, you do a squat, you come up at the top position, you squeeze your legs, you squeeze your glutes as hard as possible to get this extra contraction. You do a pull-up, you're at the top, try to squeeze your shoulder blades, okay, and activate the muscles, or just contract them even harder to get another stimulus here. You can do that with almost every exercise. Make use of it. Bench press, you go up, squeeze your chest, for example. And number 10 is squeeze after a set. Bruce Lee really liked doing that. For example, you did push-ups. After doing push-ups, he was just standing there and squeezing the muscles that were working in the push-up exercise for chest, shoulder, triceps as hard as possible. This gives you a better mind-muscle connection, and the mind-muscle connection is really important when it comes to muscle growth, because when you feel the muscle, you also contract the muscle better. So after the exercise, for example, after a squat, just squeeze your legs as hard as possible. After a bench press, your arms and chest. Do that from time to time. It's fun and effective. Tip number 11 is go for free weights and cables, because you don't just have the weights, but also the coordination that is necessary for the exercise. It is much easier and also more functional to create stimulus with these exercises. And because it is more functional, I mean, everybody wants to be functional, I guess, and not just look good. It helps you with everything. So always go for free weights and cables to train the muscles in that way, and you will get also better results by doing that. Tip number 12 is finish every single exercise with a perfect technique, which doesn't mean that every set must be finished extremely perfect. When you go for exercises like a bicep curl and you do it for reps, you can also be not very clean at the end maybe. But if you do compound exercises and you finish the training, at the end of the training, just do 1, 2, or 3 single reps with the most perfect technique, with the most awesome technique that you can have there, with maybe no weight at all. Just use the barbell and do the best technique possible. Why? Because your brain saves the perfect technique there. Tip number 13 is use machines to increase your strength. When you use machines, coordination is not really necessary, but you can develop your strength. For example, you want to become better at the bench press and you have a plateau. Just use the chest press to increase your strength. Don't go for volume maybe, but put up a lot of weights, because you don't need the coordination of stabilizing the bar. Just press as hard as possible, develop your strength, and become better in the actual bench press. Tip number 14, and this is one that I really like, is do exercises that you want to do. Because when you go to the gym and you really do the exercises that you want to do right there, then you will have more will to go to the limit, to really get the most out of each workout. If you go every single time to the gym and you do exercises that you don't like doing, then why are you doing that? Because you will not give your best. And if you don't give your best, you cannot expect your muscle growth. Tip number 15 is load up the bodyweight exercises. Do push-ups with weights, do pull-ups with weights, dips with weights. For that, I have a belt for you. I mean, I don't have a belt for you, this is my belt, but you can buy a belt like that and have intense workouts, dips, pull-ups, everything. You can do a lot with that. I have links for you in the description for Amazon. Check it out, because it definitely makes your workouts more fun and effective. And you can become very strong by doing pull-ups and dips. Tip number 16 is focus on compound lifts, because with compound lifts, using a lot of muscle groups together, you can make much better gains, because a lot of muscle groups are involved. The coordination is really necessary, and if a lot of muscles work, you can also use higher weights. More weight means more tension in the muscle, and that helps. So the focus of your training should be always on compound lifts. Tip number 17 is use a fast concentric and a slow eccentric, which means lift the weight fast and go down slowly. When you lift it fast, you activate as many fibers as possible in the muscle, and while going slowly down, you create that little injury, or the injuries in the muscle, that when they heal by putting in protein, you get your muscle growth. Tip number 18 is go to failure with each set. Failure means really do as many reps as possible with a clean technique when you train very heavy, or when you don't train heavy and go for reps until it really burns and you can't continue anymore. Because as Jeff Cavalier from AthleanX says, you need to challenge your body to change your body. So go to failure always. Tip number 19 is go super slow from time to time. Often I recommend you go up fast with the concentric and slow with the eccentric, but from time to time, to get another stimulus, you can go super slow with your reps. Of course, you can do much less reps then, but they will be very effective and they will burn like hell and help you building muscle. Tip number 20, this is one that I really like. Give yourself a chest bump before every single set, because it motivates you, it makes you feel better about yourself. It's all about you when it comes to strength training, so why don't feel like King Kong and do the set then? Number 21 is drink a lot, because let's think about it. The muscles are made out of protein and water. To gain muscle, you need water and protein. So drink a lot to feel better, be hydrated, and develop your muscle mass. Number 22 is eat a lot of protein. Simple, right? If you don't get it out of your nutrition, then supplement it. But protein is, of course, important. But to be honest, you don't need as much as you think. Just eat healthy protein, healthy amounts of protein, eat enough, then it's all okay. Number 23 is eat carbs before your workout, because it's proven that when your blood sugar is high, your willpower is high. And when your willpower is high, you will have the strength, the mental strength, to go to failure with every single set, which is important when you want to develop muscle mass. So eat carbs before your workout, not too much maybe, so that your stomach is not very full, or drink sugary drinks that are maybe healthy. I'm not talking about a Coca-Cola here, so maybe some juice or isotonic drinks. Number 24, don't skip leg day, because the leg muscles are so huge that if you train them, your body releases a lot of more growth hormone than, for example, when you train your biceps, and growth hormones are released in the entire body, of course, so you get also better muscle growth in the upper body, which you want, I guess. And number 25, this is one that I really like. Use single set training from time to time, which means choose an exercise and just do a single set. Why would you do that? Because when you do a single set, you can really go to extreme failure, because you can use all your mental energy for that one set instead of doing 5 to 10 sets, which is now an extreme example, because then you will be like, damn, I must do 9 more sets. I cannot go to real failure here, because I mean, you cannot, let's be honest. If you do a single set, you'll be motivated to go to failure. I, for example, did once 20 squats with 100 kilograms, 220 pounds, and I wouldn't be able to do that if I would do 5 sets of that. I needed all my willpower for that, but I had like 5-6 days of muscle leg after that. Number 26 is don't count the reps. Why? Because your muscles are also not counting the reps. Why would the muscle count reps? The brain is also not counting the reps here. So it's all about the stimulus that you create. Just go to failure. That is the rule, not the rep range. Number 27 is use liquid chalk, like on the hands, liquid chalk or chalk, just to feel like a weightlifter. I think it's for me, it's my training boost. It gives me such a training boost. I use it even when I do front squats, and I feel much better when I have liquid chalk in my hand. You feel like Spider-Man, have a better grip, feel stronger. Number 28 is find a pre-workout that works for you. For me, for a long time, it was honey and orange juice. For you, it can be coffee or it can be an actual pre-workout. Just find something that works for you, use it, feel better, and have more willpower again here. Number 29 is really, really important, and it is create and hold momentum. Because when you want to build muscle, it's all about training continuously. You cannot train once and expect muscle growth. You must train for months to get the results that you want, so never forget that. Number 30 is train your abs frequently and functional, because when the abs are strong, you're also stronger in exercises like deadlifts, squats, everywhere, especially with the compound exercises, because when your core is strong, you will have much more strength in the entire body. So train the abs, not just with crunches and sit-ups and leg raises. Be creative, find exercises that work for you. Just Google for it or search it on YouTube. Number 31, use a dead pause, which means instead of, for example, bouncing the weight and coming up in a deadlift or going down and immediately up in a bench press, just go down, hold it, then press it up. You take the momentum this way out of the exercise and just use your muscles and not elastic capacity. You can do that with every exercise. Squats, pull-ups, you can hang really instead of going down and up immediately. You can also hold at the top, stuff like that. So use that stop often, it helps you. Number 32 is never do the same, because when you do the same thing, the body thinks, hey, I'm prepared for that shit, and if I'm prepared, I don't have to build muscle. So this is wrong. Always do something different on the other hand, if you think about it. And number 33, and I really believe in this one, don't rely on a training partner, because when you just train with a training partner and your training partner calls you and tells you, hey, I cannot come or I don't want to come, then maybe you will also be lazy and don't go to training. This is what we want to avoid. Often train alone. From time to time, train with someone else, in my opinion. This way, you will have a better momentum, learn to motivate yourself, and you will make your gains, and others maybe won't. So don't rely on a training partner. You can, of course, not use all the tips at the same time, but try to adapt them and remind yourself that there are so many tips that you can use to build muscle. I wish you good luck on that journey. You are amazing. See you.